Hey, what's going on? It's Stokely from Sosondolea. Oh, man. I need to do better, man. I used the charger last night, and I didn't charge up my son's tablet, so he's not necessarily going to be able to play his tablet today at school. I got to get another charger. But last night we were watching a cartoon on Netflix called K-Pop Demon Hunters. Now, I was hesitant to let him watch it because I don't want to watch anything with demon, because it's a negative influence, just like these cartoons with all these monsters that are like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a while before you grow up and you learn things, so you can juxtapose and so you can differentiate and so you can separate right from wrong sometimes. You know, that's why, you know, if you talk to some people, or people, they recruit child soldiers, because child soldiers, once you set them in a direction, they're just absolutist about whatever they're instructed to do, you know, and that's what makes them so formidable, and that's what makes them useful to these, you know, warlords, or useful to, you know, it's something that's not new, but it's been going on since, you know, I don't know, as far as I remember, when the guys were out in the fields, just you know, on the front lines, doing their front line battles, where they were firing their muskets, and then the next ruler would fire his musket, and so on and so forth. They had child soldiers from back in those times. So you gotta be careful what kids see, because they'll stick with it, you know. They'll hold on to that, you know. Like the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and he'll never depart from it. So anyhow, we decided to watch the show with him, and that way we can, you know, say, well, this is right, that's wrong, this is right, that's wrong, whatever. And the show, you know, had a girl group and a boy group. The girl group were the demon hunters, and the boy group were a bunch of demons, right? And each one of them was vying for the attention of the people. And the demons, once you focused on them, they would take your soul. And one of the ways which they use to take your soul is making you feel inadequate, start doubting yourself, start saying negative things about yourself. That allowed you to become trapped, because once you felt inadequate, what the demon lord said to you was, you're not good enough, but I can make you, you know, I can make you so and so, but I can make it better for you, you know. You're not good enough, but I can make people like you, I can whatever, you know. And it kind of reminds me of so many things, even gang members. Like I said, this little boy down the block from me said he was riding his bike, and some guys tried to jack him for his bike. Some other little kids, well, they're little to me, they're probably teenagers, they're like 15 years old or whatever. He is 13. So, and I was saying to my neighbor also, you know, a lot of guys get caught up trying to gain acceptance, because one of the impulses in young men growing up is to be part of a fraternity, is to be part of a brotherhood, is to be part of a pack. And that pack mentality, and that, well, it's not even a mentality. It's something that's ingrained into our nature. Look at hunter-gatherers. You see the men, they always go out together because that's just it's kind of something that's in their nature. I'm not saying that there's not female hunters and female warriors and all that, but primarily, you know, I mean, yeah, you know, wolves, they all hunt together. Lionesses doing the hunting, yes. Tigresses, well, they're solitary, so they hunt themselves. But, you know, even wild dogs, the male and the females, they all work together. But in human interaction, that's not the case. In human civilizations, that's not the case. Anyhow, so these negative thoughts we say to ourselves, and these negative things that other people say to us, can push us into an area where we start doing things that, where we start going down a path of negativity, going down a path of being lost, going down a path of getting exploited and victimized by people who are saying that they're going to lift us up out of, you know, whatever situation we're feeling inadequate, from them saying negative things about us or from us feeling negative about ourselves. The funny thing, well, the strange thing, I was trying to decipher, but, you know, maybe there's some lore online I can look into, because it's a very profound movie. Aside from the cringe singing, because I don't like musicals, aside from that part, the fight scenes are pretty good. It's not primarily a fight scene type of movie. The love story is pretty nice, pretty cute. The artwork is similar to Into the Spider-Verse, the Miles Morales Spider-Man aesthetic a little bit. It's well drawn, well written. The music production is great. It's like some real pop, R&B, drill rap, very, you know, very modern, contemporary, whatever you want to call it. Production, great production quality on the music. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, you know. And it talks about feelings a lot. But one thing that I'm taking from it, this is me saying this, is the star of the movie is named Rumi. Rumi, right? The star of the movie is named Rumi. So, and just the other day I was talking about somebody about rumination. Rumination is when you dwell on negative thoughts, and it can make you depressed, and it can make you, you know, it can put you in a bad place. So her name was Rumi, R-U-M-I. Rumination is spelled R-U-M-I-N-A-T-I-O-N. So they just cut off the nation part and just put the Rumi. The girl named Rumi, now she was half human, half demon. How that happened, who knows? Her mother and her father had passed away. But she felt inadequate this whole time because she was part demon and she couldn't tell anybody. Right? And the demon guy from the boy band was able to exploit her and use her shame of feeling inadequate because she had part demon in her. He was able to exploit that to trick her and distract her from what she was supposed to do. Now, she was supposed to kill all the demons so that basically hell would be sealed. But every time they had a fight interaction, she would all start doubting herself, and, you know, and end up, some of the demons would escape and whatever, and end up taking the souls of other people. And then in a part near the... I'm giving away the whole movie, but I'm not going to give away the whole movie. I'm not going to give home... Oh, man, I gave away a lot. I gave away a lot of the movie, but I'm not going to give away the end of it. But either... The ultimate part of it, I mean, I don't know if, if you're an adult with a moral compass, you should be able to watch the movie. And if you have kids, you should watch it with them to explain that this is right, this is not right, whatever. And, sometimes you got to read between the lines, on what these movies are trying to impose on kids. Anyhow, but K-pop is big up. Let me go. I'm all over the place. But K-pop is a big industry. The guy's named BTS, which is like one of the biggest K-pop bands in the world, are publicly traded on the stock exchange in South Korea. That's how money making it is. And these boy bands and these girl bands are something that are developed by corporations and investors. I mean, a similar marketing model, and a similar model is being used here in America also, where, even guys like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, those guys were created by a team of business people, record company executives, producers. They all came together and put it together. I was just watching a documentary, not even a documentary, I was recording you could call it an expose, but he wasn't saying anything negative. There's a musician, and he was showing you that to make a song right now is not something that is left to chance. I forgot who the artist was that he was talking about. Somebody that I don't know. But anyhow, once I looked up a Selena Gomez song. Selena Gomez has a song, I don't remember what it was, but there's probably 4 writers on the song. You got a keyboardist, you got the regular main producer, you got the executive producer is the one that paying for everything. You got all kind of backup vocalists and all these people, and these are not people that work with them regularly. They pull together this team to create the song. And there's people that just write songs and sell songs. There's people that just come to your studio and do the keyboard part for you. There's some producers that just give you a specific sound, and if that's the sound that you want, and then they do their market research, and then they do, they might do a panel where they evaluate, have people listen to the song and say, what do you think about it? So it's a business, So the whole K-pop thing to me was also interesting because I'm a little bit interested in music. And like I said, the production quality was great. It made my son want to get up and dance, It made him want to dance. It got him energetic. Sometimes when he gets energetic, he starts to draw. He wants to draw things. But the production quality had a big influence. Had a big influence on him. So, and if you watch, some of these videos about K-pop, they're trying to, in my opinion, reproduce the fanfare and oh man, I forgot my lunch. Trying to reproduce the fanfare and the fan loyalty and all of that, similar to what Michael Jackson was doing and all these rock and roll guys were doing in the 80s, where they would have fans screaming and fainting, and but the thing with the K-pop and even other artists that are being developed even here in America and probably in Europe also, is that it's, like I said, it's a business. They use the artists to market products. Even in the cartoon, I think there was a product placement for some ramen soup. Like each one of them had their own flavor of ramen soup. And that they product placed even while they were fighting the monsters, right? So it's a business. But anyhow, That's not the point of the whole conversation I'm having. The conversation that I'm having is about negative thoughts, rumination. Like I said, the star of the cartoon is called Rumi. When you keep thinking negative thoughts about yourself, or you internalize the negativity that people project upon you, you put yourself in a bad place. Now, even, I was watching a movie and then we paused it for a little bit because I stepped on the remote by mistake or whatever, and I went in the kitchen and I was thinking, this is what rap music is doing. Rap music, I remember Biggie Small says, either you're selling crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. Now, he pigeonholed everyone from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, New York City, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island, Buffalo, New York State, Chicago, Miami, Louisiana, anywhere there was black people that identified with Biggie Smalls culturally, he just condemned them if they internalized what he said. When you listen to the song, you internalize it. When he's saying that, he was eating 5-cent gums, not knowing where his next meal is coming from. You know what happened? If you watch a documentary with Biggie Small's mother said everything he said was a lie. She owned a 4-bedroom house, and she sent Christopher Biggie Smalls Wallace to private school. You know who else went to private school? Jadakiss went to private school. Right? And I think, Jadakiss went to private school. I just opened my phone, looking at G Herbo, who is from Chirac, one of the most violent, and he's associated with one of the most violent rap eras in recent history. Way more violent than Tupac and Biggie. Tupac and Biggie's feud was a kindergarten compared to, I'm going to call it university level violence in Chicago. So G Herbo is associated with that movement. And when you look at G Herbo, not saying that this would absolve him or protect him from the bad environment that he grew up in. His 2 parents have been married. They had 2 kids and they raised their 2 kids together. And his father was always present. So, I don't know what kind of father his father was. I don't know anything about him personally. I don't know the full story, but the negative thoughts can sneak in. G Herbo identified with this is me saying this. G Herbo identified with the gang members of his neighborhood and, fully embraced that. He's a great, he's a very skilled lyricist, right? He's very skilled in what he does, rap. Later on, G Herbo is one of the people to pioneer talking about men's mental health. Probably about 5 years ago, he started really getting into it. Really getting into men's mental health and being vulnerable and all these things. So he's evolved. Thank God he survived to the point where he evolved and came around to realize, the behavior that we were exhibiting back in Chirac is not ideal. And now he's a father. He has his 3 children, and he's doing that very well from all auspices, from all appearances. Anyhow, and I'm not just gonna blame Biggie Smalls. He's not the only one that was singing negativity. Ice Cube was also singing negativity. Ice Cube recently, supposedly, I think he said it multiple times already, that he revealed that, you know, the record companies wanted him to portray a criminal aura about himself, a violent criminal aura about himself. And the children that were watching these things identified with it and said that about themselves. I'm poor. But guess what? The devil, the demons, yeah, you know, all I gotta do is sell some crack. You know what? The demons say, all I gotta do is join a gang. The demons say, all I gotta do is carry a gun. The demons say, if I carry the gun, if I join the gang, if I sell the crack, people gonna love me. People gonna like me. It's gonna cover up my poverty. It's gonna cover up my, you know, off-brand clothes and put fancy high-end clothes on me. So that's what the demons were doing in the movie. And once you accepted what the demons were suggesting to you, they sucked the soul right out of you. They sucked the soul right out of you and gave it to the devil and empowered the devil with it. So this movie really spoke to me farther than it was even trying to say. Farther than it was trying to go, it went with me, and I was really feeling it. Now, what does that have to do with aesthetic? What does that have to do with health? Well, I mean, you know, let's take for example rap music that's suggesting to you that you're worthless, that you need to become criminalized in order to have value, that you need to join a gang to have value, that you need to hurt people to feel good about yourself, to feel better about yourself. You need to carry out reprisal attacks on people. You know, you need to rob people to feel better about yourself so you can get material things. What does that have to do with aesthetic? What does that have to do with health? Well, it has a lot to do with health if you're dead. It has a lot to do with health if you're self-medicating due to self-loathing. It has a lot to do with health if your mental state is one that is negative, if you're ruminating. And sometimes if you're ruminating and you're planning on carrying out actions that are going to result in yourself getting hurt and other people getting hurt. So that's health right there. What does it have to do with aesthetic? Now, our aesthetic, you know, yeah, it's how, you know, how we look to other people is how we feel about ourselves sometimes, you know. If somebody says, oh, you're dusty, you're dirty, you're ashy, you know. We used to have a song in the public school where it says, I don't remember how the whole song went, but the song ended with your shoes cost $9.99 or something like that. At the end of the song, it says your shoes cost something like $9.99. So it's saying that you got cheap stuff on. Your aesthetic is not matching the class standard, you know, the standard of value. So we don't attribute any value to you because your shoes are cheap. Your shoes are affordable, so we don't attribute any value to you. That's going to affect your mental state additionally, which is affecting your health. Your aesthetic means something sometimes, especially when you're a little kid in a environment, a low vibration, traumatic cesspool where what's celebrated is material things that are outside of you, not the internal person and the internal value that you present as an individual, you know, as a positive person. Because look, you could be the worst, most mean, nasty person, but you out here wearing the flyest clothes, you're looking clean, you're looking good. People are gonna want to be your friend. People are gonna hurt themselves to be your friend. People are gonna subject themselves to your meanness because of your attractiveness. That's crazy, right? Look, and that was shown in the movie too, because there some of the demons, right? Like the demons with that the demon boy band, one of them had like crazy abs, and the girls, even though they know that they have to kill all the demons, when they saw the guy's abs, they would just go crazy. They would just go crazy and fawn all over them, even though they knew that they were demons. The smallest one out of the girl band heroes was like, well, maybe they're just magicians. So she was trying to make excuses for them because of their aesthetic. So aesthetic matters. Looks matter. Looks matter. Aesthetic matter. Now, we're not going to, you know, I'm not promoting that kind of behavior where you're saying, you know, oh, they're beautiful people, so they do whatever they want. But we know that that's how human interaction works. Sometimes it goes over the top to the point where people hate you for looking good. People sometimes hate you just because you feel good. You might not even look a certain amazing aesthetic. You're just happy, and they'll feel bad about that. They'll feel inadequate about that because the devil, the demon, is talking to them and saying, why is this person happy? I'm not happy, so I must hurt this person. I hate this person now. So this cartoon called K-pop Demon Hunters really resonated with me. I said to my son, wow, this movie is deep. And him not really getting what I was saying, said, I don't know if I want to watch this anymore. So I said, son, when I said it's deep, I mean it has a greater meaning to it, in that it's saying don't say negative things about yourself. You know, you're a child of God. You gotta always remember that. You know, don't allow other people to put negativity into you, and don't say negative things about yourself. You know, I was watching a TED Talks, and I still can't find that TED Talks, where a man said, he showed an ad from, I think it was Allstate. I think it was an Allstate ad on insurance. There were 3 guys in a car. One guy was driving, 2 guys, 2 other guys. One was driving, one was on the passenger side, and one was in the back. And the guys were clowning the guy in the back, saying, oh, you don't have Allstate? I may be wrong about the insurance company. I think it was Allstate. You say, you don't have Allstate? Oh my gosh, they're about to crash. You say, you don't have Allstate? And the guy doing the TED Talks explained that this commercial, the marketing strategy that was used there is making you feel inadequate. Saying that you don't have this makes you feel inadequate, and it makes you take action because you're hurt. And to gain acceptance, to gain fraternity with the guys that he was in the car with, now he's going to go out and get his Allstate insurance. You know? People also like a feeling of exclusivity also. I'm going off on a tangent now, but even Kanye West said, I spent an extra $100 on this just to say N-word, you're not up on this. So he basically saying that he wasted an extra $100 just so that he could boast to his friends that they're not able to access the thing that he has access to. So that gave him a sense of value, the fact that he was able to obtain some material thing that they were not able to obtain. Now, what kind of friend is that? That means that his feeling of inadequacy turned into competition to the point where he wants to shame and make his friends feel inadequate. Shame his friends and make them feel inadequate made him feel better. So what kind of friend is that? That sounds like a friend that has a negative spirit working on them. Now they're trying to project that negative spirit into you, you know? So anyhow, I'm at my destination. This guy is, dangerously parked, blocking the road. But anyhow, think positive, stay positive, and it's a great cartoon. Just be cautious about what you're watching. Everything has an influence on you. Thanks for listening.